we could see those rainfall rates again extend a bit further to the south there. So we're going to be watching that as we go forward here, folks. So we're going to be needing to closely watch over the next 24 hours how this evolves. We may be seeing some changes with this as we go, but either way, we are still talking about a significant amount of rainfall there for Florida, and we'll be needing to watch that very closely. Now, again, in terms of the storm force winds and time of arrival, and again, I do apologize. I should have got that opened up for you. But again, in terms of the time frame of most likely time of arrival of those storm force winds, again, Florida should start to get that Wednesday morning, again, after the sunrise hours. And again, we should be expecting that storm force conditions will be off of the eastern side of Florida by the time we get into Thursday morning sunrise hours. So again, with that, we note that, again, hurricane conditions late Wednesday into the early hours of Thursday for western portions of Florida. And again, that will be spreading eastwards on the east side as we get further into the morning on Thursday. Of course, tropical storm conditions, as noted early tomorrow, you could expect that. So again, we'll be watching for that, and also we note tropical storm conditions possible there in the Bahamas as we get further into Thursday. And we could even see some tropical storm force winds, or at least gusts, there off of Georgia and South Carolina also on Thursday. Also want to point out there are the few risk of tornadoes over central and southern Florida beginning later tonight and continuing through early Thursday morning. So again, all of South Florida do need to pay very close attention, as well as central Florida, to any particular tornadic risk there. Again, along with that, we note that swells are affecting much of the Gulf Coast at this point in time. Swells all the way through much of this area is being affected by the hurricane at this point in time. And we'll see that continue for the next couple of days, and swells to eventually be growing along the east coast of the southeast U.S. and parts of the Bahamas and Cuba as we do go forwards into the latter portions of the week and towards the weekend. So we're going to be watching closely with that as we go. Again, folks, we'll have some further updates on Milton later tonight and into tomorrow. So do stay tuned in for the updates there. I also just want to make a quick mention here, folks. We do have another little disturbance here, another area of low pressure that's located east of Florida and the Bahamas. We could see this potentially develop into a subtropical or tropical system here. Again, we saw some of the weather impacting Florida the last day or so. That has moved offshore. We could actually see here, if we look closely on the little satellite imagery, we can see actually a pretty good circulation that's developed with this area. And we do see some thunderstorm activity associated with it. So certainly not out of the question that we could get a tropical storm or tropical depression, maybe even subtropical. Will be pulling away from Florida, so some good news there. Might cause some issues for Bermuda. But again, there is at least that this system will be pulling away from Florida. Again, the National Hurricane Center, it does have the system marked. And again, we will be watching closely with that as we go. Conditions will become a bit more hostile over the next few days. So that will limit the amount of development that this system will do. But again, nevertheless, we watch. There's also another system out there over the eastern Atlantic that was expected to come off of Africa that could develop there. We're going to be watching that. No impact to the Caribbean or continental US, at least in the immediate terms here for that. Still a bit too early to determine any impacts there. So we'll note that. Again, the remnants of Kirk moving into Europe, or has moved into Europe, impacts there to the United Kingdom, France, Germany, had impacted Portugal, Spain. Quite an event there. Hurricane Leslie, just a quick note of Leslie. It did weaken to a tropical storm, now back up to a hurricane, roughly around 20 north, 46 for 1,490 miles west northwest of the Cape Verde Islands. Again, 75 mile per hour. Movement northwest at 14, pressure 992. Not expected to impact land, thankfully. Expected to go out into the North Atlantic. Follow somewhat on the path of Kirk, though due to Kirk's wake will likely weaken Leslie here as conditions aren't as favorable. So a downtrend in the intensity is expected as we go forwards. For Leslie, again, hurricane force winds 15 miles from the center, tropical storm force winds 105. Notably smaller than Kirk, and indeed smaller than Hurricane Milton here. And again, not really a threat. I will quickly note here, folks, that we are going to be turning our eyes after Milton moves out of the way. We're going to be turning our eyes back over to the Western Caribbean, where we could see some development here. Potentially another decent system developing somewhere in the Western Caribbean. The overall trend is towards a north to northwest movement, and then potentially a northeasterly movement over the eastern Gulf or the northwestern Caribbean. So sadly, yet again, Florida will be needing to look out for this as well as Cuba, the Cayman Islands, Jamaica, down to Honduras. This whole area will be needing to closely watch for that area. Could see that pop up potentially late weekend into next week. We'll have more on that as we do go forwards in time, folks. That's the update for now. And again, we did make this a bit of a two-parter here. Sort of lots of things to discuss here going on in the Atlantic. So that's the update. We'll be back with further updates later tonight. And this has been your update from Cayman Hurricane Center.